Okay, well, that is a good place to start. Again, welcome everybody. This is a Property Boost webinar. My name is Cameron Laird. I am the product director for Property Boost, and I'm going to take you through the product and help you to understand how it can affect you, help you with your business. I don't know why. There we go. Property Boost is essentially an advertising platform. It's automated for you. It's super easy to use, and it gets your properties up on Facebook to show off what you've got, on offer for your clients to try and bring new leads into your kvCORE database. Really simple product. It creates these beautiful looking ads with a photo from your listing, provides a little bit more information about the listing. And then the great thing about Property Boost is that it leverages what's called a lead form. And on Facebook, when one of these ads appears in somebody's news feed, and they click through it, their first name, last name, email address, and phone number will all be pre-populated into a form like this. So it makes it really, really easy for somebody to respond to your ad and provide you with good contact information into your database. So it's really a three-step process. They go through, they see the ad, they click on it. Once they click on learn more, it's going to take them into a contact form. That's going to be pre-filled out for them. So the nice thing about that, really high quality leads that you're getting in terms of completeness, because people don't have to fill in their information. It's done for them automatically. They see some privacy information and away they go. So really, really great way to get people who are in the market for a home to respond to a listing that you have on Facebook. Again, this is fully automated. There's nothing for you to do. You don't have to worry about building the ads, uploading photos, running a campaign, turning it on, turning it off. We take care of everything 100% for you. You define the ad, what you want to do with the ad, how long it wants to run, what photo you want to use, do you want to display a price or not, and we take care of the rest and make sure that that ad gets out there and is targeted to an audience that will see it. So how do we get to Property Boost? It's actually really easy. There's a couple ways you can do that. I mentioned before that this is a presentation based in the marketplace of kvCORE. And if you're not familiar with that, the way you get there is to go in your dashboard menu, which you can see here. This is my kvCORE screen, and I'll show this to you live in a few minutes. You're going to go in this menu. You're going to look for Marketplace. When you click on Marketplace, there's a nice little lead header up at the top here that you can click on. And then you'll see this Property Boost tile. When you click on that Property Boost tile, it's going to take you into the Property Boost form where you can actually start by searching for a listing. Now, the other way to do this, we've made this really easy for you as well, is through the Listings tab inside of kvCORE. So again, in that same side menu for kvCORE, you click on Listings. You can pick any one of the listings that appear in your listing database. If you don't have listings, you can work with somebody in your office or in your company, borrow a listing. All you have to do is get your hands on that listing, click on this little checkbox, click on the boost button, and it'll take you to the same place that I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. Third and final way to do this is actually if you dive into the actual listing details. So I'm looking at a specific listing now. I can actually go over to this More Actions button here and click on Boost Property. So you've got three great ways to go about creating a Property Boost. It's really, really easy. The fourth and final way you're going to be able to create these is that we send out emails with every new listing that you get. You should receive one of these emails set up to show you the beginnings of what a Property Boost would look like. All you have to do is click on that green button in the middle to finish your ad, and it'll take you right there. So I'll do a quick live demonstration for you just to kind of take you through this. Again, I'm going to go through from my kvCORE dashboard, which is where I'm logged in now. We're going to go down to where we say Marketplace. And there's a couple of different ways I can get there. I can click on any one of these little buttons here in the middle. I can click on this Leads button, and I'm going to find my Property Boost. I've already purchased Property Boost, so it's going to give me the Sign In button, which I can click on here, and it's going to take me right into Property Boost. That other way that I showed you was using the Listings tab. So if I go into the listings feature here, I've got an option here to see all the different listings that are available to me through my organization. It does not have to be my own listing, just like with any other property that you might be working with. If you're going to try and run an ad in the local newspaper or something like that, and you want to get some business going, you can work with somebody in your own office, get their permission to share that listing. I can just select it here, click on Boost. It'll take me into PropertyBoost. Last but not least, I can go right into the listing itself. More actions, boost property. So it's really, really simple to get up and running and build these ads for you. So I'm going to go into a different screen now just to kind of take you through the boost process and show you how to build one of these from scratch. I've already got one started for us, and I'll take you through what this looks like. So starting at the very, very top, I've already searched for an address. I've already searched for a property, and I've picked out my property is going to be this one here in Playa del Rey, California. My first decision I have to make is I've got 3 different types of boosts. I can boost an ad for a listing, meaning I'm announcing this new listing and I'm promoting the listing itself. I've got an open house boost. So if I'm going to run an open house, I have one coming up. I can actually define different open house times that I have coming up in the future just to boost that open house. Or if the price has been reduced, I can actually create a price reduced one, which shows off that we've got a new price for this property. I'm going to stick with doing a listing boost for now, just to make it easy. And what you'll see here is on the right-hand side of the screen, I've got this really great ad preview. And this is showing you what your ad will actually look like on Facebook at the time that you post it. So you can see it here. I've got this beautiful photo of the bay, the information about the listing, how many bedrooms and bathrooms, what city it's in. And I can make a couple of different modifications to this as well. So if I go over to the left-hand side, maybe I don't like this image that has been selected for me. So I can click on select new image. And now what I can do is I can find a better photo that better represents the property. Maybe I like this one better. I can select that. It updates right away in the preview, so you can see what it looks like. Maybe I want to introduce a little bit more information. I want to actually display the price. Now, this is a brand new feature. We've just introduced it. I can click on this little toggle, and it's actually going to update to show what the price of the property is. So at that point, now I've created this ad. I've modified the phone number. Sorry, I've modified the image. I've included the price. And now I'm ready to go. I don't have to make any more changes. I can purchase this and move on. There's a question here in the chat that I just want to sort of address as we go through here, and which is, this comes up quite often, which has to do with people's Facebook accounts. I've heard this from a number of different agents in my time working with PropertyBoost. What if I don't have a Facebook account? What if my Facebook account has been blocked? You do not have to have your own Facebook business account in order to use PropertyBoost. We take care of everything. We post it into a generic page to get the ad out there and publish it. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to have your own Facebook business page in order to do this. So now I've created, I've made some changes here. I'm happy with what I see here, and I'm going to move on a little bit here, and I'm going to click on a couple more things just to show off what these do. One of the things here is this actual drop-down box. If you have more than one website inside of kvCORE, so maybe you have, you're a team leader, you've got a team site, you might have another site for something very specific, like a landing page or something like that. You can actually choose which website you want the traffic to land on, but you can just leave it as default. You don't have to change this. So if you know you just want people to land on your standard website, you can leave it as it is. The other thing you can do is you can actually add some smart targeting here. So by default, what will happen is we will create an audience for this ad that's based on the zip code. And we look for a circle that starts at the center of the zip code and is 15 miles in radius. So anybody who falls within that circle will get to see this ad. But you can change that up as well. This is Playa del Rey. Maybe this is a community that draws people from other cities in California. I can actually change the targeting here and pick a different city. So if I wanted to say, I want to have Los Angeles as the city, I can actually change this now and have this boost go, and we'll be targeting anybody in a 15-mile radius from the center of Los Angeles, as an example. So that's the way that the targeting works. One last thing you can do is if you have any additional information that you need to convey in the ad in order to be compliant with the rules of your local real estate board, you can add any compliance text in just by clicking on this button. That would be something like, maybe you have to display your brokerage name or your license number or something along those effects. You can add that through the compliance text field. Okay, so once I've done all this and I'm happy with my ad, I can actually go on to purchase it. The pricing plan starts at 3 days of running for $45. This tends to be really good for your open houses. If you're going to run your open house for a few days before it happens, say on a Saturday, you want to run this probably about Tuesday, get this going for a few days before that ad, before that open house. The best value actually tends to be at the most common actually is at the 1 week mark. So the $60 price point. So we pick our price point. I'm going to run this one for 1 week. And then I fill out my purchase information and away I go. So once I actually purchase this ad and go through, it's going to take me to my dashboard where I can now see all of my active boosts. So I've got one here that I created a little earlier. One of the things I can do with this ad is I can add in my seller information. So you can actually do this as part of the purchase process in the last step. I'm not going to go through it on this example, but I'll just show you what you can do here. You can actually add seller information. So if I provide an email address and a phone number, that will actually allow me to automatically PropertyBoost will send performance information about how the ad is performing to the seller of the property. This is a really great feature because it's showing that you're adding value to the person that you are selling the home on behalf of. But also it gives them the ability to see, how many impressions the ad is getting, the clicks, the shares, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to see all that coming through and they're going to get that as an email at the end of the week. So this will show you all of your ads, whether they're active, completed, upcoming. We keep a nice little tally here on your dashboard to show you, what your cost per lead is, how many leads you've generated through all of your property boosts, how many ads you have running. And it's really simple here. You can click on this boost property button just to start searching for an address and pick a different one and get started. So really, really simple process to get through and create your property boost. Once your property boosts come in, once your leads come into kvCORE, they're going to come tagged to represent that they're associated with your property boost. So you'll see they'll have a source of property boost. They'll also have a hashtag on them that will be PB plus the first 12 or 14 characters of the address. So you'll be really easy to find which of your leads are coming in from those different property boost ads. I'm going to switch back to my presentation and we will go back through a couple other things. So one of the things I want to go through here is I want to show you a little bit about how you follow up with these leads in kvCORE that are coming in from PropertyBoost. So the thing I want everybody to remember before we go any further is that these people that are coming into kvCORE through a PropertyBoost ad are responding to an ad about a property that they found interesting on Facebook. So it's not necessarily, they're ready to buy today. These people tend to take a little bit longer to nurture, but they saw something and were prompted to click through. They either liked the photo or the area or something about the ad spoke to them in a very passive way. They weren't actively searching for information. So your approach with any of these leads from PropertyBoost needs to be a low pressure type of approach that you're going to have with them, where you're going to provide value to these people for days, weeks, months, maybe even years. And if you do, you'll have a really good percentage of them that'll eventually work with you. So just want to sort of set the stage in terms of what the type of lead is that's coming through from these ads, because they are passive as opposed to what you would see from say a Google pay-per-click ad where somebody has actively gone and started searching for homes for sale in a city. These are people that are seeing these ads and they're actually sort of like passively clicking. So just a little bit of a distinction there. So how do you follow up on PropertyBoost leads using these low pressure tactics? First and foremost, calling and texting. make it about following up on the action that they just performed. So these people have just seen an ad, they've done something, they provide you with some information. So your first outreach to them should be like, hey, saw you were looking at 123 Main Street online. Did you get all the information okay? Or, are you a homeowner or a renter, from the same sort of starting point? So that early introduction is a response indicating that you saw that they performed some action, and then trying to get some information from them after the fact. The next thing, and I'll show you a little bit about this in a minute, which is how to set up automated hashtag alerts, which will help to make increase the return on your PropertyBoost investment. So like I said before, all of the contacts that are coming into PropertyBoost are coming in, from PropertyBoost are coming into kvCORE with a hashtag, which is PB, and then 15 characters of the address. So you can actually use that to identify all of the leads that are coming in, and then create an automated search alert for them, and start to send similar properties to all of the people that are coming in through PropertyBoost, so they're seeing more about what they have on offer, or what you have on offer. And you can do that based on either the hashtag about the specific property, or you can just set it up for the source of PropertyBoost. So the next thing is to actually set up a smart campaign. Again, whether it's based on the just the source of PropertyBoost or the specific hashtag, you can actually set up a smart campaign to automate a lot of these things. Like this first step here of emailing and texting that first contact, asking them if they got the information okay. You can set that up, just a very simple couple of steps using the smart campaign feature in kvCORE to automate some of this performance for you. Last but not least, you can actually use this to send one-off blasts with updates about the listing. So anybody who's responded to that listing through your ad, you can just search for that, anybody with that hashtag, and you can text or email them any new information about that property, open houses, price reductions, anything new. You can set that up. Anybody who's opted out, just remove that hashtag. If they've sort of said they're not interested in that property, you can just use the hashtag, control that, but it gives you this way to sort of reach all of those people all at once in kind of a group environment. Okay, I got to wrap it up. My deck tells me that I'm talking too much, so let's wrap this up a little bit here, and then we'll go to some questions to round out the session. So why should I use PropertyBoost? How is this going to help my business? First and foremost, this is a great way to get exposure for your listings on social media. They appear in the feed of prospective home buyers. So there's no interruption, so they do get clicks. So this isn't something where you're popping something up, or they're getting an email or a text message. It's showing up in their feed. They're already scrolling through Facebook, so it really is induces clicking very well. You're going to generate leads. So who doesn't love that? That's why we're all here today. You get a relatively high quality contact information from PropertyBoost Leads because of that lead form. All of that information is automatically captured right from the user, so you don't have to worry about, is phone number mandated? Are they only going to give me phony email addresses? It's pulling it right from their social contact form, so they don't have to fill out anything, which means they're more likely to provide the information because it's easy. These ads also look really great to your prospective sellers. If you do a PropertyBoost, you can, put some of this information into your listing presentation, because not every agent is going to spend their money up front to market a listing on social media. You can make this part of your advertising. It makes you look like you've got this huge budget to promote listings, but at the end of the day, it's driving leads into your contact database. But it shows really well to your prospective sellers and helps you stand out from the pack and show your commitment to them. Again, put that seller's information inside of the PropertyBoost form, so they're going to get all of those performance reports as the ad is running. You're going to make them look really great to them. You're providing them with all this information. They're going to see all these clicks and impressions and everything. It looks fantastic in how you're marketing the property to them. So it really does dazzle sellers and makes it easy for them to choose you because you're showing them everything, and you're doing a great job for them. And then last but not least, you can actually, use your PropertyBoost again. So you can reboost listings that perform really well to continue driving traffic to your website and generate new leads. And I'll show you a little bit about that in a couple of minutes. So I'll just recap here on pricing. PropertyBoost comes in a number of different flavors in terms of packages. starting at the actual 3 days, $45, but $60 for a week is actually a really good value to get an ad up and running for 7 days. It's running for a good amount of time. You're going to see more leads, obviously, because it's running for longer. You start to see price breaks come out when you're buying multiple weeks. So if you're going to run something for 3 weeks, for example, it's going to save you a little bit on the cost per week, and as they go up from there as well. But a week is the most common. That's what people tend to purchase the most frequently, and it's what I would recommend as a starting point as well. So $60 gets you 1 week of advertising. No other costs associated in that. There's no referral fees or anything like that. It is what it is, and it's all inclusive. So from the day the ad starts until the day it ends, there's nothing else you have to do. It's fully automated. You'll just start to see stuff come in through your kvCORE. So I talked a little bit about reboosting ads in the past. So I brought up this dashboard because I wanted to show just, this is obviously not, indicative of the average scenario, but as I go through and I look at people's ads, you start to see ads that perform really, really well. So what I would suggest is using your dashboard to see which of your ads are performing and bringing in the lowest cost per lead, and then, run those ads again. If it's an ad that's running and performing really, really well for you, extend it and boost it again, because those will continue to generate interest coming to your website and coming and landing on your listings, and continuing to bring people into your database with a relatively low cost per lead. So on average, we see a cost per lead at around $7. But you do see in some situations where you get ads that perform extremely well, the cost per lead can actually be very, very low. So while this is not indicative of the average, I wanted to show this because it's just a way to say, how do we leverage these ads again and again to try and generate interest as things go on. Last but not least, I wanted to show off a little bit of this is kind of a testimonial from somebody who posted in our Facebook group, showing off the power of PropertyBoost. What I want to sort of just highlight the bullet points in this very long story here is that, within the first day, the first hour of actually having a PropertyBoost live, he had a lead coming in, within the first 48 minutes, they contacted them within 2 minutes, and it turns out the person has a house to sell in a few months before buying. They sent information about their house, got the details of their desired home, got them onto a drip campaign, and when this converts in the next couple of months, this agent has a shot at over 700,000 in deals just from that one PropertyBoost ad. So I wanted to show this is a real testimonial from an agent, but really is a powerful little tool that you can use over and over again. It's easily accessible. If you don't have any listings, you can borrow a listing from somebody with their permission, get that up and running, but it's a relatively low investment to try and augment your advertising strategy and get leads coming into your kvCORE database. So with that, I'll go on to questions and make sure that we get them all answered for you. I'm going to turn to Nick and just say, hey, Nick, is there any questions that we need to answer that have been coming up again and again through today's session?
Hey, Cameron, we had a couple folks ask if it's possible for them to boost closed or sold listings if they just want to promote based off of something they've recently closed out.
Yeah, that's not something that's available just yet, but it is in our roadmap coming up in the near future. We recognize that that's definitely a use case we need to address and something that we are working on delivering. So not just yet, but it is something that we are looking at.
And a couple folks were asking, I think you showed the dashboard with some stats. Can you just summarize how they see how their ads performing after they purchase and it goes live?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just quickly go there. I can go to my dashboard and just show you. So you'll see here on this is the PropertyBoost dashboard. I've got one PropertyBoost that's created, but because I'm in a demo environment, it's not actually live. But you can see each of your ads. You can see the status. So if it's active, if it's ended, completed, I think we call it, or upcoming, you'll see this little tile change. You can see when the ad ran, and then you've got a number of impressions. Impressions is how many times your ad has been seen. So if If you see 1,000, that means there's been 1,000 views of that ad over the Facebook. Clicks is when people actually click on the ad themselves. So maybe they'll click on it, they'll see that lead form, and then if they fill it out, that results in a lead. If they don't fill it out, it's just a click. How many times the ads have been shared, that's although you don't get access to who they're sharing it to, it is interesting to see when the ads have been shared. If you look at the top here, we actually will summarize all of that information and sort of aggregate it lifetime across all of your property boosts. And this will actually result in how many leads in total have been generated. Then also what your cost per lead is across all of your different ads. So as you grow this is kind of gonna grow. The other way to find your leads for a particular ad is inside of inside of your kvCORE dashboard. I'm going to click on filters, go into contact details, and I'm going to search for hashtags that start with PB. That's always going to be PropertyBoost. And then if my address is 123 Main Street, I'm going to have that kind of hashtag is what I'm going to be looking for. So the dashboard tells you a bit of information about each individual ad, as well as a summary as to how all of your campaigns have been performing. And then the dashboard can also be used to find additional information if you're looking for what those leads look like. What's the next?
There's a couple folks asking just the timing, how quickly after they purchase their package does the ad actually go live?
Yeah, so if you were to purchase it now, for example, today at 4 o'clock, it'll be up and running probably within the next 2 hours. We run our creation of our ads runs a few times per day. So typically we say within the first 24 hours of purchasing, but it really depends on when during the day it's actually purchased. So next day is typically a good measurement. It'll be up and running.
Can you share any stats on just kind of the click activity and engagement that we've been seeing on average? There are a couple folks just asking from an expectation setting standpoint.
Oh my gosh, I wish I had updated that. I don't have updated stats. It really depends. Like I said, the average cost per lead that's coming in is about $7. So if we do some really quick math and we say we have a $60 boost divided by 7, that's on average about 9 leads. 8 or 9 leads per ad is what we're seeing on average. You'll see some that are much higher and some that are lower than that. Obviously, it depends on the market, but you can expect to see that $7 cost per lead on average. Depends. So typically what happens is the price per lead tends to follow the market price. So if you are in an area that you operate in that tends to be right on the average of the national average for home sales, you can expect to see in that average. If your prices are higher, then you can see the price per lead go higher, and if your prices are lower, the price per lead will go lower. So it really depends on the market. I see a quick answer. One I can answer quickly here. Will this feed to Instagram? It does. The Instagram purchases are a small percentage of the ads that we run. Facebook tends to perform better than Instagram for these types of ads, but we do test with Instagram for every ad. So if Instagram is performing really well, we'll favor Instagram. And that's the other thing I didn't mention before, is that when we're running these ads, we are optimizing them over the course of that period that they're running for. So if there's improvements that are made, we will automatically pivot those with the different placements and what they look like. So.
Cameron, I've got a couple questions around people who are looking to possibly use other people's listings in order to generate ads. If someone's using another agent's listing, what website should they direct their ad to?
If it's a listing that is available in your So if this is available to your kvCORE website, you can direct it to your own website. If you direct it to the listing agent's website, they're going to get the leads. So basically, if I go to kvCORE really quickly, I'll just go here into the listings portal. These listings that you see here are all the listings that are available to my kvCORE website based on the configuration of the MLS at my brokerage level. So any of these listings that are on this page would be available on my own PropertyBoost on my own website. So I could pick any of these and boost it and direct the traffic to my own website, even if it's not my listing. If I go just to my listings, I don't have any because I'm not an agent. But any of these listings here are available on my site. So you just would pick your own site, and it'll direct traffic to your own website. It has to be within the same context of the MLS that your brokerage has access to. So you can't pick somebody from across the country and try to, bring people to, to California from Boston. But you can do it within the context of your own account.
Hey, Cameron, there's been quite a few questions about what's the difference between PropertyBoost and just boosting and paying Facebook for a boosted post.
So it's very similar. We are running these as a managed ad. So there's, like I mentioned before, the optimization that occurs in the background. We have a team that is dedicated to managing these ads and making sure that they're running effectively. So like the heading and the text and the ad account, all those things that are running in a way that is optimized to perform. You would have to go if you're going to go and create your own ad, you're going to do your own boost. You're going to have to go through some experience and some learning in order to kind of benefit from the same type of experience that you're going to get from using our advertising tools. It's a boosted post is just an ad, but you're basically running that ad on your own. So you have to manage the Facebook the Facebook ad account. You're paying Facebook, whereas here it's a managed service for you where we're doing it on your behalf. So the boosted post is a similar type of entity as a PropertyBoost, only that you're going to be doing that on your own as opposed to us doing it for you and taking advantage of the Facebook algorithm and getting all of the audience together and that kind of stuff. So it's a faster way to do it if you're not familiar with Facebook and how to generate ads.
Cameron, can you just speak to how the agents who are buying properties don't really need to do any Facebook management themselves, that
Correct.
it's all taken care of for them?
Absolutely. You don't even need to have a Facebook account. So if you've never been into Facebook, I challenge to find somebody who has never been in Facebook. But if you don't have a Facebook account, or you're not you at least don't have a Facebook business page or something like that, you don't need to worry about that. We don't require you to have any Facebook experience. This is 100% in the background to you. You just need to go into kvCORE, click the buttons, make it boost, and then we take care of the rest. So there's no need to using Facebook on your own account. There's a question here. I'll just read it as I'm looking here, which is what happens if you pay for a week of boosting and it goes under contract in a day. The ad will continue running unless the listing is removed from the listing feed. It will continue running.
Cameron, can you speak real quick for kind of non-standard residential properties? We've got a couple questions for commercial properties and vacant lots. I think some agents are looking maybe boosting those.
Yeah, the commercial properties and vacant lots have slightly different templates. So while actually here's an example of one here, which I can't click on now because I've already created it. I can maybe find it again. They'll have a slightly different template. So instead of saying, you know, just listed 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, it'll say, you know, vacant land or land available in Playa del Rey, California. If it's a business listed through a commercial listing, it'll say, you know, investment opportunity, I think is what it says, something along those lines. It really depends on the listing, but we actually change up the heading based on the type of listing. So if it's commercial or if it's vacant, we actually have a slightly different template that will show.
Cameron, can you just touch again on the leads as they come into kvCORE? There's a couple folks asking about hashtags and categorization. Just get an idea of what they look like when they come in.
Yep. I will go back and just show that off here. So here's an example of the hashtag. The hashtag will be PB and then 15 characters of the address. So if my address is 123 Main Street, it'll be PB 123 Main ST as the address. As the hashtag. The source of the leads in kvCORE. So whatever shows up in, oops, I'm not in the right spot. In this source column, we'll say PropertyBoost. So that's that.
And we've answered via chat a couple times, but just can you confirm that there's no additional fees or costs
Correct.
beyond the package price they
That's
see?
right. Yep. $60 will get you 1 week of advertising. Any leads that come in are yours permanently for you to market to do whatever you want to do. There's no referral fees. There's no setup fees. It's $60. That's it.
And just for everyone to know, the package pricing, it's primarily just around duration. So the price goes
Correct.
up as the ad runs longer. There is some volume discounting for the longer time period. So, you know, if you want to run for 3 weeks, you should buy that package versus buying, you know, 3 single week ones, unless you just want to see along the way whether you want to continue extending the duration.
Correct. There's a question here about, doesn't it have to be in your own brokerage? Yes, it does have to be in your own brokerage. That is a good clarification. So I meant within this for which listings you can boost within your own brokerage, not just your home MLS. So it needs to be a listing that is available to you on your website within your home brokerage. Is there a way to boost without showing the property address? Yeah, you don't actually see the property address when you boost. The example ad here, this is just showing the property that I've selected in the listing that I'm going for the listing that I'm creating the ad for. But in the ad itself, it never shows the actual address. It only shows the city that it's in.
Cam, can you speak? Is there any kind of notification when new leads come in, or is that something they should just kind of periodically keep an eye on in kvCORE?
Yeah, so depending on how you have kvCORE set up, you know, you'll receive notifications of new leads. It can be by text message or email or both. I believe there's even push notifications in the mobile app, but text, email, you can configure that notification inside of kvCORE. So that's up to you. There's a question here, is it necessary to have your own website? I do not have one. Everybody can have an address, a website inside of kvCORE. So if you have your own kvCORE account, you have your own website. So you can have that, configure that, get that set up and running. And that's the prerequisite for using this tool.
Cam, we've got just...
Sorry,
go
I
ahead.
just wanted to address another question while I'm reading through here. So can an agent object to a non-listing agent boosting his or her ad? Absolutely. You need to work with, so if you're going to borrow somebody else's listing, you need to have their blessing and get their permission on that. Sorry, go ahead, Nick. What was the question you were gonna ask?
I'm typing it up. Just some people are asking about how often the ads are posted, or I think it's just based off the duration the ad is continuous,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. So if you run, if you buy the ad for 1 week, it's going to run for all 7 days of that week. There's a question here: how can we rerun an ad if it's already sold? So if your ad has ended, that's when you want to continue reusing those ads, reusing those those boosts. So if the property has sold, you can continue to have a listing boost for sold property as long as the property is in your listing feed. So if it's not in the listing feed anymore and that it's not an active listing, you won't be able to boost it. But if you have one that's still active, you can continue to boost it for as long as it's active. There's a question here about Facebook rejecting ads. There's a number of reasons why Facebook can reject ads, and what if that happens, in that you've boosted your property and you haven't seen any activity come in a day or so. Reach out to support, because there's a number of reasons why a Facebook would reject an ad. I've had one rejected for violating the alcohol policy in advertising on Facebook, which was an interesting one because the listing was for a convenience store and it happened to be showing a picture of the beer case. So that was one that was interesting. There's a number of reasons why they can get rejected. It can get rejected if the listing is no longer available. It can get rejected for a number of reasons, but we can normally resolve those fairly quickly once we get notified for that. So just chat in with support if you need, if you haven't seen any activity on your PropertyBoost ads. There's a good question here to help understand. Did I hear you say that the higher the price of the home, the more the cost would be? No. What I meant was the cost for PropertyBoost is the same no matter where you are in the country or in North America. That for that matter, it's always going to be $60 US for a week. What I meant was the cost per lead tends to follow the average listing price. If you are in an area where the average listing price is about what the national average is, which I think is, I don't even know, the average transaction I think is at 220,000 US or something like that. If your average sale price is about that, you can expect to see about an average cost per lead of $7 or so. But the higher your price goes, the higher the cost per lead tends to go, or the lower your price goes, the lower the cost per lead is. It also has factors built into that around how much inventory there is, the interest, that kind of stuff, the population. But it's not the cost of PropertyBoost that goes up and down. It's the cost per lead fluctuates depending on where you are in the country. And that can be kind of like linked to the average transaction price.
Cameron, this is an interesting one. Someone's asking whether we've seen better success when price is present or not. I think that's a pretty new feature that we've enabled.
So that's actually that's a feature that's only been out for about a week or so. We don't have many stats on that. It was a common request that we had from people that they wanted to display the price. So that's something we are just testing. It's brand new.
I will just say qualitatively, if you specialize in a certain kind of property or are trying to find people interested in that specific kind of property and price range, you might be better off showing it just to qualify the leads that you're getting a little bit.
I'm just going to address a question here about ad rejections again. sounds like this person has actually experienced this. If the ad is rejected, we actually do get notified and we try to proactively resolve those. It's very, very infrequent that it happens. So apologies if that has happened to you, because it's unlucky. We don't get many rejections on a daily basis, but we do get notification of all ads that have issues, and we try to resolve those as quickly as we can. The best way to get a hold of support for anybody who's interested, now that I'm sort of just looking at the screen, this little bubble down here on the right-hand side of my screen is the actual chat box. So by clicking on that, you're going to pull up the chat inside of kvCORE, and you're going to be able to chat in with the support right away. So that's the best way to get a hold of support for PropertyBoost. The ad is posted on Facebook, and it'll run throughout the day. There are so many, it'll 24 hours a day for the, it'll be visible to people who are scrolling through.
And it looks like
all
we've
of the
got
prices I quoted today were in US dollars as well. So just FYI.
Yep, that's what I was just going to ask you about. It looks like we've got a couple of Canadian
just saw it
customers
pop up
on
there.
here.
Yes. I try to make sure I point that out to my Canadian friends. That's in Canadian dollars. Sorry, in US dollars. So the couple of questions here about how do I pick a target area. So I'll just go back to that really quickly. So the target area will be, by default, will be based on the zip code. So if you aren't sure who you want to target, just leave it as default. Don't change it. You don't have to do anything with the targeting. We will automatically target an audience within a 15-mile radius of the zip code. And you can choose the other setting that you can change that typically raises some questions is this, the website. So I've got it set to default. I only have one website configured in kvCORE, but if I have multiple websites, for example, if I'm a team leader, my team will have a site. I'll also have my own personal site. So I can choose to direct listings either to the team site or to my personal site. Or if you have another website inside of kvCORE of some other nature, you can pick that. But depending on how many websites you have, you're going to be able to choose from this list where you want the traffic to go to. For most people, they're going to be in the same scenario as me. There's no choices. It's going to be one website to choose from. There's a question here about if I want to extend the ad, how does the pay scale scale, vice versa. So it's always the same. So you have an ad, like I've got this ad running here. If I was to extend this ad, boost it again, it would actually start running at the very end of this duration. So this one's set to run for 7 days. At the end of the 7 days, my next ad would run. So you would run for another 7 days. So it's always going to just be the same cost. Yes, you do need a website. So you must have a website configured in kvCORE for this to work. Otherwise, there's nowhere for people to land. You cannot use an external website from kvCORE either. That's another website that's external to kvCORE either.
I think we just have a couple location questions.
Sure.
And just confirm PropertyBoost is city based, not zip code based.
Correct.
So,
So if you want to add a secondary target, that is going to be a city that you're going to specify there, not a zip code. There's a question here. Can an open house and a basic boost run at the same time? Not currently. That's actually something that we are currently working on as well, is to allow you to boost multiple ads at the same time. Right now, they would all kind of run when one ends. Question here, can you extend an ad for less than you originally paid for? So if you purchased $150 first, can you do it for $60? Yes, you can. So when you extend it, it actually just takes you into this environment so you can configure, and then you can pick your new pricing plan. Okay. If you have multiple listings you want to run at the same time, absolutely. You can run multiple ads at the same time. You just can't run 2 ads for the same property. And there's good reason for that, is because it's actually quite complicated, because now the 2 ads start to compete with one another. And you're bidding against each other for the same ad space, which is why it's a little difficult that's why we're trying to figure out how we actually do that, because if I run an ad for a listing and then I want to run another ad for the open house, it can be quite challenging, because now the open house is competing for the same audience as the listing, which means that it can hinder the performance of both ads. So we're trying to come up with a way of actually doing that effectively and not hindering the performance of both. So okay. Well, I think we've gone through a lot of really great questions. I'm just going to answer this one here, which is, can you add the open house information to your ad? Yes, I didn't actually go through that. I meant to do that. So I'm going to change this to an open house and I'm going to just show you that. So I can actually choose the date and time of the open house. So I can actually say I've got an open house coming up. Oh, it's September. Oh my goodness. So September, what is it going to be? Like we'll just call it like whatever, the 14th. From 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. And then I can add another date. So if I want to run it the next day, I can run one on the 15th as well, from whatever time, 3 to 6. And I submit that, and then it'll actually show the open house dates and times right on the ad. Okay, well, we've gone through a lot of great questions today. I thank everybody for their time and attention. I'm gonna close it out here. Again, this will be shared with you by email, so you'll receive a copy of the recording as well as the materials and a summary. So thanks so much for your time and attention and all of your great questions. And I look forward to talking to you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.